The NASCAR Pinty Series makes history today with its first ever race outside of Canada. The 2018 championship comes to the Magic Mile at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. We're set for 100 laps of wicked fast racing on TSN.
The drive to the 2018 championship got heated last week when the Tour visited the tight confines of Autodrome Saint-Eustache. No one escaped without their short track badge of honor. Points leader LP Dumoulin had his troubles, while Marc-Antoine Cameron visited Victory Lane for the first time in his NASCAR career. Now, Canada's Tour trucks to New Hampshire Motor Speedway. The Magic Mile is the biggest oval on the calendar. With 2 races to go, the 2018 NASCAR Pinty Series Championship is in full gear. Welcome to the Granite State, the NASCAR Pinty Series in Loudon, New Hampshire. As we get set for the Visit New Hampshire 100, I'm Dave Bradley along with Adam Ross and Todd Lewis is trackside. Adam, history is being made here today at the Magic Mile.
Dave, this is the first time in the 12 years of the NASCAR Pinty Series that it's been run outside of Canada. And New Hampshire Motor Speedway is also the biggest oval the series has ever run at, so this is an exciting day for fans of the NASCAR Pinty Series.
And it's coming down to the end of the season here in the NASCAR Pinty Series, and there are a few players we'll be watching over the course of this 100-lap race, but a beautiful look at the spotters stand looking high above this track, and there's a good look at LP Dumoulin, who is your current points leader.
And it's a tight battle between Dumoulin and Alex Tagliani. This is where Cole Powell and DJ Kennington have to make hay if they have any shot at a championship.
And the possibility is there. It's a track that a lot of these drivers are unfamiliar with.
It's a huge wild card race because, like you say, the drivers are unfamiliar, and this is double the size of anything we've raced on.
Engines fired here on the front straightaway. New Hampshire Motor Speedway. There is your E3 spark plugs. Pole sitter Cole Powell starting alongside will be the 74 of Kevin Lacroix.
That's not a big surprise with Cole Powell being fast here, Dave. He's running a NASCAR Tour Modified 4 different occasions.
We'll have onboard shots from a variety of different drivers, Adam Martin being one of them. And there is a good look in the field as it rolls off here on pit lane, getting set for the Visit New Hampshire 100. Powell and Lacroix make up row number 1, as we mentioned earlier. Looking back to row number 2, that's where we find DJ Kennington and Alex Tagliani.
Back to the 3rd row, there's Andrew Ranger in the 27 and Marc-Antoine Cameron in the 22. Row number 4, Donald Teague in the 24 and LP Dumoulin in the 47.
Row number 5 as Pete Shepard in the 79. Adam Martin drives the number 19. Pair of teammates in 9th and 10th. Julia Landauer in the 28 in row number 6. And Anthony Simoni back with the series at number 95.
Row 7, we've got Armani Williams making his return to the series, driving the 97. Kerry Mix in the 02. Jean-Francois Dumoulin drives the 04, and Joey McComb behind the wheel of the 46. And rounding out the field is Martin Cote in the 11.
That is your Total Court starting lineup for the Visit New Hampshire 100. Let's take a look at your E3 spark plugs race analysis.
100 laps is just a hair more than 100 miles, Dave. Weather is perfect here for racing. 18 degrees. There's going to be no tires, and there is no plan for any fuel stop.
This is a super wide track, and it's a very different look than any of these drivers have ever seen before. Before we go green, let's check in once more with Todd Lewis. Todd?
2 things to watch for in today's race, guys. First, tire wear. Number of drivers have told me in the last 20 laps these cars will be a handful because of the wear expected. Also attempting to pass. It's very difficult. They haven't had a lot of time running in traffic. They may be using the side draft to make that pass necessary late in the race especially.
There's a good look at LP Dumoulin adjusting those belts, getting comfortable in the seat. Fantastic look out the back of Cole Powell's number 3.
Adam, you can see the 04 of JF Dumoulin on pit lane. The crew going to work underneath that car already. We're hearing reports, Todd, from the pit telling us they have no high gear, but that's not going to stop the start of this race. We're underway here in Loudon, New Hampshire.
The field rumbles down into turn number 1 for the first time. DJ Kennington getting a good start from the inside of row 2. He's going to challenge for the lead.
Off of turn 2, heading down the back straightaway. There you see the draft, much the same as we would see at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. And we have a car into the wall already. The 11 Martin Cote backs it into the wall in turn number 2, and that will bring out the caution.
Yellow flag flies. Cote's been having trouble getting up to speed here, Dave, and has not been a successful start to this race. The GoVR.com Chevrolet of Cote obviously showing signs of contact with the concrete.
Not a driver we often see on the oval track stops here in the NASCAR Pinty series, but making the trek south along with a number of fans from his native Quebec province. They're all cheering on their favorite drivers here. So under caution for the first time, we'll take a quick break. You're watching NASCAR on TSN. This NASCAR on TSN telecast from New Hampshire Motor Speedway is brought to you by WeatherTech, the ultimate interior protection for your vehicle. By Leland Industries, a proud Canadian fastener company. And by Honey Goo from Clean Flow, one honey of a lube.
Something interesting here, Dave. NASCAR has called a complete restart, and this throws a bit of a wrench into the plans because the cars have done at least 4 laps, maybe 5, and by starting the 100 laps again, if we have overtime later on, that's going to take them right to the very edge of their fuel window.
So we could potentially see some pit stops over the course of this race. Either way, green flag drops once again, and we're back underway as they hurry towards turn number 1.
Tagliani tried to defend there and keep Andrew Ranger from getting to the inside. He was unable to do it, and they'll drag race down the long back straightaway. Lacroix got a better restart this time.
You saw Andrew Ranger trying to side draft off Alex Tagliani down that long back straightaway, and now they go side by side in through 3 and 4.
You can probably tell, Dave, but the wind today is incredible here in Loudon. I don't envy that camera person up on top of their perch, but that might affect these race cars.
Well, you can see Kevin Lacroix pinned to the inside. He will be out in the wind. Now he tucks in behind the Cops Bildal Chevrolet.
You can see how early they roll out of the throttle, but look at how early they roll back into the throttle. These are long corners here at New Hampshire. And exaggerate the shape of the racetrack makes the entry to the turn so long and the exit of the turn so long.
But the thing about this track that is unique, the corners are fairly flat. There is progressive banking, but at the top you only have about 7 degrees of banking, so it's really not all that significant.
So they are going to be relying on the brakes, but there's a lot of different ways to negotiate this racetrack. You can see Lacroix running a higher groove, DJ Kennington a little bit lower. Here's a driver with lots of experience on big tracks in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. He's one I had my eye on all weekend, Dave.
But believe it or not, no experience here at Loudon, New Hampshire Motor Speedway. The man out front does. You mentioned it. He has 4 starts in the modified tour. However, a couple of those starts didn't go his way. He does have finishes of 11th and 15th, his top 2.
Well, by contrast, in the modified series, this would be an unheard of advantage. Those cars are on top of each other the entire race. The draft is so significant. We'll see drafting here. You can see DJ Kennington right up in line with Kevin Lacroix.
Another one of those drivers with experience at this track, but in a different vehicle, is the driver of the Rona number 18, Alex Tagliani, in an open-wheel Indy car, and Donald Teach, also with experience here in a late model, as well as an Xfinity Series car, which he campaigned earlier this season.
He's got a great view for the battle in front of him. His teammate Marc-Antoine Cameron looking to the inside of Andrew Ranger, and he'll tuck back in line in the 6th spot, just between Ranger and Teach.
Now you can see the several different lines, and look who is coming, the National Exhaust, number 79 of Pete Shepard.
And this is a racetrack where if you make a move at one end of the track and you have to pinch your line off, it's going to take a little bit of time, but you're going to expose yourself to the car behind you. It may take the entire next straightaway, but you saw what a great run Teach had on Cameron after he had to pinch the car down to the bottom of the racetrack.
Pete Shepard, of course, does have some big track experience as well, running the ARCA series several years ago, but campaigning a new sponsor on the hood of the Dave Jacobs prepared Ford Fusion. Shelby Roofing coming on board for this race and the next race, the Pinty's Fall Brawl at Hampshire Motor Speedway, and that is where we will crown a champion of 2018 in the NASCAR Pinty Series.
And depending what happens today, Dave, things could get really crowded at the top of the championship battle. How about this view of a race for the lead?
And a little bit further back to the battle between DJ Kennington, the 18 of Alex Tagliani, and now Kennington's teammate, the Mopar Dodge, the 27 of Andrew Ranger.
Ranger trying to get on the throttle while still to the inside of Tagliani. Look at the hood on the 27 from Ranger's vantage point in the car.
Back up to that battle for the lead as we ride on board. Kevin Lacroix on the left. You can see the overhead shot on the right. So many different lines, as we mentioned earlier, here through the corners as drivers try to keep that momentum up. That is so important.
Cole Powell is nothing but focused behind the wheel of the Cops build all number 3 as Ranger piles it down into 3. A slow motion slide job for 4th place. He will sneak up in front of the 18 and take that 4th position.
But now he's disturbed the momentum of the number 18 of Alex Tagliani, and here comes the GM Paille number 22 of Marc-Antoine Cameron.
Even on a big track like this, did you hear how steadily Teej was getting onto the throttle? Not too quickly. You don't want that car to jump out from underneath. And here goes Shepard to the inside.
Shepard's looking very, very good in that VRX Simulators number 79. Talked to him earlier on, and I said, have you ever turned a lap here? He said, no, but I've done a dozen laps or so on this track in my VRX Simulators. So that's given me a little bit of practice and hopefully an advantage, and it seems to have paid off.
And Dave, we've got a battle for the lead. Kevin Lacroix looks to the inside of Powell. Down the back straightaway into 3. He drives it in deep.
He's able to drive off to the inside. Powell looked to be giving him that spot. It is still early, just coming up on 12 laps into this 100-lap race.
Kevin Lacroix out in front. And Dave, what I was about to say before Lacroix took the lead is I race myself at home, and anyone who's been on iRacing knows when we go to these onboard shots, that is exactly what it looks like at home. So Pete Shepard is able to get some quality practice with his VRX simulator and have an idea when he gets out in the race car. Obviously, you don't get the sensation that you would at these speeds, but it gives you a nice head start.
Good training ground. Kevin Lacroix out in front in the early going. Welcome back to race number 12, the second to last race in the 2018 NASCAR Pinty Series, and the first race ever held outside of Canada. We're at the Visit New Hampshire 100 in Loudon, New Hampshire, and this a battle for 3rd, and it looks like it's going to Rangers. Cole Powell drifts up to the outside.
3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, all right together. All 3 of Scott Steckley's team cars as Cole Powell got a little bit loose on corner exit. All 3 of Scott Steckley's entries right together on the track.
Great shot of Alex Tagliani at work, and now this from the bumper cam back to his teammate Donald Teej in the Mercury Acura number 24. Powell trying to get back down, and the 22 GM Paille Chevrolet. Marc-Antoine Cameron is right there.
I think what we're seeing is two different things, Dave. For one thing, these cars are so evenly matched that when your handling starts to go away a little bit, it's amplified in this competition and on a track of this size. If you're a little bit loose in the turns, well, watch Cole Powell. You spend 7 seconds in each corner, and it's really costing him some positions as he falls back.
Mentioned a little earlier that Alex Tagliani does have some experience here. It came a long time ago, though. 2011 is when he drove an IndyCar here. He finished in 19th position. A NASCAR Pinty Series car is a little bit different.
There's minor differences. I think the other thing these drivers are learning, and Tagliani probably has the most experience of them, is learning how the draft, not just being behind someone you know you can go faster, but the air off of the cars that you're around and racing in dirty air. We have never had that conversation in our series.
Another thing, too, aerodynamics is playing a major factor in this race compared to other races. You see, when we go on board looking back from bumper cameras, a lot of that bottom grille is taped off. Look at Alex Tagliani. He has a strip in the middle taped off. Some of the other drivers have half that bottom grille taped off. So different strategies. Look at Donald Teach.
The left side is taped off, the right side is not. The other thing, with the onboards in particular, if you notice Kevin Lacroix, when he took the lead, that hood is still. Absolutely still. Andrew Ranger's hood looks like it could fly off the car at any time when you go on board with him.
And look at Teach now gripping that track and diving to the inside, able to turn that car well through the middle of the corner. And that's going to set up a run. There's the side draft down the straightaway and a run to the turn.
Drives it in about 4 car lengths deeper. Tagliani backed up the corner, but he's not able to get through the center. Look at those eyes.
Quick look at the mirror and then right back on the back bumper of the 24.
All of these drivers are running slightly different lines. It's quite amazing. Tagliani's about 3/4 of a car width up the track. Here's a battle for 7th. Pete Shepard to the inside of Cole Powell.
Cole Powell seems to be drifting back just a little bit. Remember, he was your E3 spark plugs pole sitter in this race, the Copps Mildal Chevrolet. So 23 laps in, that car seemed to have been set up well for a short run, maybe not so good for the long run.
It appeared to me when we were focused on that battle earlier, the car seems quite loose from the center off, just wiggling that little bit that prevents them from really being able to attack the throttle. But in talking about the different lines they run, as we're focused now on Pete Shepard III, 29 career NASCAR Pinty Series starts.
Yeah, and a threat to win in nearly all of them. Pete Shepard is definitely a strong runner. Had his struggles earlier on in this 2018 season, but he seems to have turned that program around.
It has not gone his way. Let's look at Kevin Lacroix. He's all the way up in the dark pavement, then he turns across the lighter gray as we have a look at the 28 of the 19. That's Julia Landauer on the outside of Adam Martin battling for 10th.
Good to see Julia Landauer in the One Love number 28 back in the field. You see the 95 of Anthony Simone in the fray as well as the Dodge pokes a nose on the outside of a pair of Fords who are battling.
High speeds will not bother Anthony Simone. This is his wheelhouse.
Oh, he loves going fast. That's why he does so well at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, because he loves the speed of that track.
Wow, a big wiggle out of Adam Martin in the 19 as Simone makes the pass. But let's watch Julia Landauer down in the corner. We mentioned Kevin Lacroix in the dark pavement and then drives through the light.
Oh, the 19
wow.
way up in the gray.
That was another demonstration altogether.
Yeah, the Johnsonville Ford Fusion of Adam Martin. Have another look. This is the first wiggle that you pointed out. And he's driving it off the right rear, and it looks like he overheated the tires because the next corner he went into was way outside the groove.
And there again, that could be the difference of being out in front to going into turn 1 this time. He was behind the 28 and the 95.
But these tires are a little bit different for these drivers. They've never seen them in this series before, and they're unique. They're a Super Speedway bias ply tire. K&N Series ran in 2017, but it's brand new for all of these drivers and teams, so they're learning as they're racing. Kevin Lacroix is a quick learner out in front. Welcome back to the Magic Mile and the Visit New Hampshire 100. I'm Dave Bradley along with Adam Ross. Todd Lewis is patrolling the pits as we get close down the back straightaway. Marc-Antoine Cameron, a battle for 5th. He'll take over 5th spot and bring along Pete Shepard as the 18 of Alex Tagliani drops back 2 spots.
And Tagliani really allowed that pass to happen. I mean, he could have driven much harder into the corner. For whatever reason, he let Shepard go by as well to get into his own space. Maybe some big picture driving. I mean, he's got to compare himself. Where is he compared to Dumoulin in the 47? Those are the drivers battling for the title. He's still a few spots ahead of Dumoulin right now.
Yeah, you can find LP Dumoulin. There he is in ninth. You see him across the top of your screen. In the Pinty's ticker, you can find your favorite driver and where they're running. But definitely showing maturity here today, looking at the big picture, as you mentioned.
Basically 1 point per position. I mean, there's bonus points for leading a lap, leading the most lap, winning the race, but a point per position. So Tagliani just needs to hammer down that lead to the smallest margin he can heading into Jakarta for the Pinty's Fall Brawl.
Change for second spot as Andrew Ranger in the Mopar Dodge slides underneath his teammate, the Castrol Edge Dodge, DJ Kennington. And here comes the Chevy Camaro, the Circuit Acura Chevy Camaro, the 24 of Donald Teach. He'll fit in there as well.
Again, Teach drives it in deep. Kennington follows him into the corner. Doesn't look like he's going to try to fight back. He's going to tuck in line. Kennington back to the fourth spot.
Looks like once you do get that momentum disturbed, it really upsets your run as Joey McComb in the 46 off the pace to the inside of the track.
Teach car looks like it's on a rail. Again, looks like a really comfortable car to drive right now. Kennington's not losing much ground, and as we say it, Cameron is driving away ahead of him, but that Ranger rather ahead of him driving away, but that looks like a comfortable car to drive.
Speaking of driving away, that man is doing exactly that. Kevin Lacroix out in front. Todd, what's new?
Guys, absolutely out front is where you want to be here in New Hampshire. Don Thompson Jr., the crew chief for Kevin Lacroix, just told me they're just trying to tell him to pace himself, not do too much too early. Still a long way to go in this one.
There you see Andrew Ranger running in the second position in the Mopar Dodge, looking fairly comfortable running in that middle groove.
And that's a hard job for Don Thompson Jr. to do as we ride on board with Ranger. Now, with no traffic, that hood is stationary. When he was in traffic, it was buffeting like crazy.
That just goes to show you the aerodynamics and how the air affects these fiberglass bodies in the NASCAR Pinty series. Again, it's not something we often see with these cars. We don't get on a track this big. Looking back to third place, and your runner in the 24 is Donald Teach. Visited Victory Lane already this year. Todd?
Fellas, I spoke to Donald Teach earlier today, and he said he felt really good about his car on long runs. We're in the midst of a very long green flag run. He's managed to climb from 7th at the start up to 3rd, moving forward. This is what you want here in New Hampshire. Set up for the long runs. It's paying off.
Interesting word that Todd used there, comfortable. That's exactly what we were just talking about. And on a racetrack like this, as we look at DJ Kennington, the Castrol Edge Dodge, I don't know if there's much more you can give your driver than comfort behind the wheel. They'll find speed on their own if they're comfortable.
Now looking on the track where DJ Kennington is running compared to the top three. The top three were all in the black or the gray as you see a battle for 11th position between the 19 of Adam Martin up to the outside of Julia Landauer and the E3 Sparkplugs number 28. Landauer on the inside, but it looks like this spot's going to go to Martin.
He drove it deep into the corner again. I wasn't sure if the car was going to stick, but it did. A nice pass by Adam Martin on the outside.
So Martin, after a big wiggle, caution flag flies once again the second time. Debris in turn 3 and 4 is what we're hearing on the NASCAR Race Control radio. So this is not a caution that your race leader in the bumper-to-bumper Total Lubricants number 74 wanted to see.
No, I'm sure it wasn't. And we talked about the challenge Don Thompson Jr. has trying to get Kevin Lacroix to run steady and not be as fast as he can because Kevin Lacroix wants to go fast.
Nearing the halfway point, we'll take a quick break in New Hampshire. Welcome back to New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Pit road is busy during this caution.
We did not expect to see this flurry of activity. The crews were just going to be spectators today.
24 arrives on pit lane, as does the 18 of Alex Tagliani. It'll be fuel and a bit of a handling adjustment. The 24 is away. The 3 car also stopping for fuel and a handling adjustment into the right rear. A little trouble with the fuel on the 18, but now they've got it. The handling to come. The 3 is now away.
And Adam, that was something that you talked about off the top of the show. Remember the early caution period that we had? A lot of these drivers taking on fuel. And it looks like problems refiring for the 18 of Alex Tagliani. That's going to hurt track position.
It also appeared as though the crew was looking up to Tyler Case, the crew chief, to get some sort of instruction as chassis adjustments were being made as well on the 18. So not everybody came into pit, but a lot of teams did.
And there he is, a driver we haven't talked about much. Remember, he came into this one as your points leader. LP Dumoulin, the WeatherTech.ca Dodge, started in 8th. He's up to 5th spot now. Eager to move forward is LP Dumoulin. There you see the point he wants to go.
I wonder what he would have been signaling there.
Possibly that he's expecting the green flag at this point. Maybe he's just trying to rile himself up because the green's waving. We're racing once again.
And you could be absolutely right. Drivers have different rituals, different things that they go through.
Cameron will duck into that open spot just ahead of the number 47 of Dumoulin. Looking up front, you have Andrew Ranger taking a look on the 74 of Kevin Lacroix.
And Armani Williams in that 97, he was way up the outside, and it seemed to work for him.
How about the Simone Autosport entries? The 95 of Anthony Simone, we talked about him earlier, but now the 97 of Armani Williams. What a run for those two drivers.
That speed shot really gives you an idea of how fast they're going. Adam Martin's number 19 did something really strange exiting turn 4 last time. The car looked like it was really wiggling, as though something was amiss in the right front.
He seems to have been struggling with the handling at times. Have an eye at the Johnsonville Ford Fusion. 3 wide now. Donald Teach going to thread the needle there. Armani Williams smart. He'll back off and tuck back in behind Donald Teach in the 24.
That's our holy moly move of the race so far for Donald Teach. And Martin's car did the same thing again. It's like it rocks back and forth on corner exit, laying over on that right front. It's doing it there.
Yeah, it wiggles considerably as we ride on board DJ Kennington.
So Kennington did pit, trying to work his way back through the field. Cole Powell behind him as well was on pit road.
So Armani Williams was one of the drivers who did not visit pit lane in the number 97. He's run some K&N East Series races here in 2018. Remember, he campaigned most of the races in the Pinty Series in 2017. This is his first start with this series this season.
And he is way up the outside. In the 8th spot is where he went into that corner. He lost 1 or 2 coming off. One of a small handful of drivers to race with our series from the United States.
On board with Adam Martin. Have a listen. And watch his hands. You can see him struggling with control in that car. And whether you watch it from the inside or the outside, that car is evil today. Sitting in 9th spot, there goes Cole Powell, the Cops Bildahl, number 3. He was your pole sitter in this race, trying to work his way back up through the field after a pit stop.
Just watching that right front wheel, you could get seasick watching that.
And now Alex Tagliani, the Rona Rapagne Chevrolet, new sponsor on board the 18 for this race as Tagliani continues his march forward. Julia Landauer, the E3 Spark Plugs, number 28, heads to the front again. One start, the K&N East Series, finished in 20th. Actually failed to finish that race, but classified in 20th.
And she looks comfortable here. She's charging the corners hard, and we've got a battle for the top spot. The bumper-to-bumper 74 of Kevin Lacroix out in front, but here comes the Mopar 27 of Andrew Ranger.
Now, I was curious about this. The 74 of Kevin Lacroix, we've seen it on a couple of occasions in 2018. A long green flag run, and he's off in the distance, and then you get a caution period, and that car just doesn't seem to work as well as before. It seems to be affecting him the same way here as the 27 Mopar Dodge is right on his back bumper.
Well, and time will tell. This is a long race. We're a little past the halfway point. Cars that went into the pits still trying to work their way through the field. There's Tagliani to the inside of Adam Martin. Tagliani back into the top 10.
And Adam Martin, again, that car just a little bit crossways as he tucks back in behind the Chevy Camaro. We ride on board with your former Rookie of the Year.
And now we look back at the Rookie of the Year from Tagliani's rear bumper. And we talk about the attitude of his race car. He may not know the difference because it's his first time on a 1-mile oval. It's probably not comfortable to begin with.
And we're now into the second half of the race, and you can see the intensity is starting to pick up. This is a battle for seventh spot, I should say. Behind the number 47 of LP Dumoulin. Again, underscore the fact he was your points leader by 5 coming into this race. Alex Tagliani, second coming into this one, is about 3 spots back.
So Andrew Ranger looks like he's trying to arc the corner. Lacroix goes in low, drifts up high, then comes back to the bottom. Ranger goes in on the outside, carves it to the bottom, and he's trying to make up all the ground he can.
And we talk about drivers that do have experience here. Kevin Lacroix has none. Andrew Ranger has lots. As a matter of fact, 2 top 10 finishes in the K&N East Series back in 2010, and he has 1 start in the Xfinity Series as well. So Andrew Ranger leaning on all that experience here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. He's making a move for the lead. New Hampshire is a state in the New England region of the northeastern United States. It's bordered by Massachusetts to the south, Vermont to the west, Maine and the Atlantic Ocean to the east, and of course Quebec to the north. Beautiful state, and I can say our entire production team here at TSN has had a great time with the people of the Granite State.
Is that straight from Wikipedia, Dave?
It is not.
It's like I opened an encyclopedia and your voice came out.
We're just looking at the map and pointing out where it is. But you know what? Let's underscore the fact that it's gorgeous here. The surroundings are beautiful, and the people have been fantastic.
Yeah, great part of the world, and these fans have really embraced this event. There are a lot of people in these grandstands, Dave.
A lot of people from Quebec, as we mentioned earlier, coming down south. It's not a long drive from that province to New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and they're cheering on their favorite drivers. Kevin Lacroix and Andrew Ranger are doing them proud here today out in front, and it's still close here at the front.
Well, Lacroix has opened up a few car lengths where Ranger was about a car length and a half off his back bumper. Right there was about 4 car lengths going into turn 3. So Lacroix still has, I wouldn't call it a comfortable lead, but Ranger's not quite there yet, but he is definitely exploring.
Yeah, you can see him taking a look, different lines, looking for a quick way by as the 24 of Donald Teach moves to the inside of the 95 of Anthony Simoni. That will be for 5th spot.
Again, Anthony Simoni in that innovative plumbing number 95, looking good out here. Running a partial schedule this year, and as much as I want to see people run every race, Dave, I think it might have been a great move for that team.
Yeah, they needed to take a step back and reevaluate their team. They were running into unlucky situations. Parts were breaking on the cars. Just no fault to their own, but they took a look at their cars, went through it with a fine-tooth comb, and look at how quick and racy they are here today.
I dare say every time he's been on the track this year, he's been a contender for a top 5 spot, and that's more than we can say in previous years, so I'm happy for those guys.
See just ahead the 0-2 of Kerry Mix. Unfortunately, the Leland Ford Fusion has struggled with a vibration all weekend long, unable to really sort that out and get the speed they need here today.
The other driver with problems that we just saw.
We got smoke from the back of the Mopar Dodge. Andrew Ranger in 2nd spot is smoking, and look at the rear end.
Yeah, you can see that left rear wheel trying to escape, and it's not just the wheel, it's the whole rear end assembly. I believe a track bar, Panhard bars, something.
Hang on to it. Andrew Ranger has his hands full, still at speed, and he's going to stay out there as the cockpit starts to fill with smoke.
That takes a lot of nerve to drive a car at that speed, because you can see it wiggling out there and the rear end moving side to side.
Yeah, at this point, he's just trying to assess what is wrong. Now he knows whatever is going wrong with that car is permanent. He's not going to remain at speed, so he's going to tuck to the inside as it gets worse. You see that wheel starting to poke outside the body each time he moves the steering wheel.
Yeah, that's definitely terminal. Let's ride along, Dave.
As soon as it happens, the wheel starts to work, and he has found his pit box, and the team is learning what we already know.
And you could see the cockpit fill with smoke before you heard or noticed the car out of control. It's amazing how close the tolerances are.
Second spot now belongs to the 79 of Pete Shepard, but he has a ways to go to catch your race leader, Kevin Lacroix. And Kevin Lacroix can now look in his mirror and take a breath.
Atop the pit box, that's Ray McCauley, Shepard's crew chief.
You're watching NASCAR Pinty Series racing on TSN. We're in New Hampshire for the Visit New Hampshire 100 as we ride on board your points leader.
And there's the two combatants for the championship. Mathematically, there are more drivers involved, but really, these are the two we're focused on. Dumoulin with a 5-point advantage coming into this race. Tagliani being one spot ahead of him. It would be a 4-point advantage if we left here and they finish in those positions.
And it's a battle for 8th on the racetrack, and they are battling like it's the biggest race on the planet, and they're vying for the lead.
Well, remember, Alex Tagliani is racing for his first Drivers' Championship in the NASCAR Pinty Series. Dumoulin's won one before. He'd love to get number 2, but Alex Tagliani, I feel like, in his mind, he is a champion. And he's a heck of a great race car driver. But I think it's really something that he's got his eye on it. He hasn't had that opportunity ever to get this close to the end of the season and have this big a sniff at the driver's title.
And he's been quite a distance back until recently in the season. He started to put together very consistent runs and very solid finishes, as has this driver in the GM Paillet number 22, Marc-Antoine Cameron, currently sitting in 3rd spot behind the 79 of Pete Shepard.
And GM Paillet, as usual, there are a lot of people representing GM Paillet.
A lot of red, black, and white shirts in the crowd and walking around here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. As you see Julia Landauer in the 28 just ahead of Pete Shepard. As Landauer going a lap down, and Shepard will tuck to the inside.
Shepard's going to drive into the corner on the inside under Landauer. Then he's going to have to let the car drift up to get to the outside of Martin Cote.
Cote in the Go VR number 11, several laps down, 48 to be exact, after coming into contact with the wall on lap number 1. But continuing out there just to make some laps and gain some experience.
On the first lap, number 1.
Yes.
The second lap, number 1 was clean.
But ever since, it's been all of this, man. The Lacroix tuning, bumper-to-bumper, Total lubricants. Number 74, Kevin Lacroix, well out in front. Welcome back to Loudon, New Hampshire, race number 12 of the 2018 NASCAR Pinty Series as we pick up with a battle for second spot. Marc-Antoine Cameron in underneath the 79 of Pete Shepard. 10 laps to go now.
90 laps complete out of a 100-lap distance. Cameron made that look fairly easy. I'm sure it was not, but he got to the inside, and even though he went in the corner that low, he was able to pull away from Shepard on exit.
Now, watch the difference between these two cars. Watch Pete Shepard as he gets hard on the gas. Watch the nose start to fly compared to the 22 of Marc-Antoine Cameron.
And that's a calling card of Scott Stackley and the setups he puts on his race cars. We've noticed that for years at a place, whether it's here or St. Eustache, a tiny racetrack, where other cars, the nose of the car leaps into the air. Stackley stay as level as anybody's on the track, and the nose of the car pins into the corner on the ground.
Ray McCauley, a veteran of the NASCAR Pinty Series, making the pit calls on the 79 for Pete Shepard, and this a battle for 8th once again. And still 1 and 2 in the points, still side by side. Just ahead is the number 95 of Anthony Simoni.
What a battle these two drivers. LP Dumoulin, hands full of steering wheel, hard on the throttle off the corner.
What did I tell you? This is probably the best battle for 8th spot we've seen all season long in the NASCAR Pinty Series.
Dumoulin going to try again, come back on the bottom of the racetrack. 8 laps left. And it may not seem like much, but you cannot run a car sideways for 8 laps at this racetrack.
Whoa, they almost made contact. I don't think Tagliani knew the 47 was coming to the inside. He made his turn to try and pinch down to the yellow line. Now Tagliani's going to get a run off the outside.
And this is racing at its finest. Going into the corner, the car on the inside, if he drives it deep, has a bit of an advantage. Once you get to the center off, this is exactly why the car on the outside has the advantage, because Tagliani can stay smooth up high and power around. They're coming to put another lap on Kerry Mix.
Yeah, and you can see Kerry Mix's car not handling as well. He slows it a little bit to tuck it down out of this race, and it's going to hurt the 47 of LP Dumoulin the most.
Dumoulin rolls out of the throttle, falls back in line, but when Tagliani has his number just ahead of the right front of Dumoulin coming off the turn, he's able to keep the power down just like this. Dumoulin has to pinch it down. Tagliani has the advantage down the straightaway.
And will he get a little bit of a toe in the draft from the 18 of Alex Tagliani? Just a touch to the inside, but again, that progressive banking helping. It's not as significant as some of the other places we go to, like Riverside, for example, in Nova Scotia, but it does help a little bit to keep that momentum up on the outside.
This is where a slide job can be successful, and it's a slow-moving slide job, not like you see on a dirt track, but if LP can drive down the inside and come up and steal Tag's line, Tag may not be capable. That car may not be able to turn back down the racetrack and make a crossover move, because right now he's sort of committed to staying up high and getting that run off the corner.
There he goes. He diamonds off in the middle of the corner, tries to get a run and gets loose, and that's hurting him on the run on the straightaway to try and get underneath the 18 of Alex Tagliani on the front shoe. Now 4 laps to go. Kevin Lacroix is out in front. Marc-Antoine Cameron in the 22, holding second as LP Dumoulin, your points leader, continues to fight a loose race car.
And like you say, Dave, what he needs to do is drive into the corner and then let the car slide up to the banking so he won't be so loose getting on the throttle coming off.
Just ahead, the 17 of DJ Kennington in 5th spot. And then you have the 95 of Anthony Simone in there as well in 7th position, just ahead of this battle for 8th spot.
Laps winding down. Dumoulin chasing Tag going into the corner. Tagliani getting higher and higher in the turns with every passing lap. But look at the extension of that lead over Dumoulin he gets on the straightaway.
Again, Dumoulin does drive it hard in the WeatherTech.ca Dodge Challenger and the Rhoda Chevrolet Camaro, battling hard for 8th spot. Another wiggle from your points leader, Dumoulin, as we head on the front chute down into turn number 1. They've reeled in Anthony Simone. As hard as they've been battling, they've been able to catch the Innovative Plumbing number 95.
Kevin Lacroix all by himself. The white flag from Dan Hawkins waves in the air.
So Lacroix goes through. Marc-Antoine Cameron holding down 2nd spot. And Cameron falling off the pace. He's slowing. You can see him falling down through the order. The WeatherTech ticker on the top of your screen.
He's one of our drivers who did not pit for fuel.
The GM Paye Chevrolet continues to fall through the order as the number 74 of Kevin Lacroix. There he is in the pits now. Here's Marc-Antoine Cameron, but he's been the class of the field all day, and he'll drive straight to victory lane. Kevin Lacroix picks up the win the first time in New Hampshire.
Pete Shepard going to come home 2nd in the National Exhaust number 79. Donald T. rounds out the top 3. Cole Powell 4th. DJ Kennington with a top 5 finish.
And hats off to that team as Kevin Lacroix gives us this week's Mopar winning moment.
What a great drive by Kevin Lacroix, the driver from Saint-Eustache, Quebec. We're going to go away just for a minute. We'll be back with Victory Lane.
We have made history this moments ago for Kevin Lacroix, but history in the making here in New Hampshire. The first ever race outside of Canada.
You can see Pete Shepard come to an abrupt stop. He wanted no part of this celebration as Kevin Lacroix is enjoying himself. He has earned this victory. Climbs from the car. Todd Lewis is there.
He had a dominant car for 100 laps here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Kevin Lacroix jumps down from the roof, smiles after his 2nd victory of the season. You had a lot of adversity in the middle of the season. How good does it feel to have a strong victory here?
Yeah, feels good, with the bad season that we have. A lot of bad lucks now. It's our turn, and we can try to keep the momentum going for the end of the season and start of next season. So feels good to be bring that car back in victory lane again on an oval. So so yeah, super good, super happy.
Kevin Lacroix, winner here in New Hampshire, win number 2 on the season.
Congratulations from crew chief Don Thompson Jr. And let's take a look at the finishing order here today. Solid run by Anthony Simone, as we'd been mentioning. There's that battle, the 18 and the 47 in 7th.
You know, Tagliani, I'm sure, will have wanted a little bit more, but he went the right direction and he closed that gap. Kerry Mix with a disappointing weekend. Same with JF Dumoulin, the Spectre Premium 04. They never made it to the green flag. They had problems.
Pete Shepard with a podium finish. You're running a partial schedule this year, but what a strong effort near the end of this season.
Yeah, I know the car was just really consistent. I mean, that's what we were looking for. We knew we weren't going to set a blazing speed, but because we were so consistent, we were there at the end, and I can't thank National Exhaust, Shelby Roofing and Sheet Metal, and VRX for getting us here. Jacobs Racing prepared a great car, well prepared. We lasted to the end, and that's what we had to do.
And now the big story we've been watching all race long, the points championship. And now, as you mentioned, one marker to the better for the 18 of Alex Tagliani. 4 points the difference now.
And again, they're the two main stories, but Cole Powell and DJ Kennington mathematically are still in the chase.
Let's go down to your 3rd place finisher today.
Donald Teach is here with his daughter, Ellie. You said that you'd be good on long runs. You were today.
Yeah, I told you at the beginning of the race that we had a good car. And, you know, we went into the pit to put gas. Wasn't sure to do the 100 laps, but if we should stay on the track, I think we got a car to beat today. We had a good car. The team worked very hard yesterday. And we worked, you know, to have a good car at the end. And that's what we have today. And we finished 3rd. That's a good run for us. And I would like to thank everybody who works with us. And Scott Strictly and Greg, what they did. The great job they did. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Big smile as the trophy presented by Ryan Vaughn from the New Hampshire Division of Travel and Tourism to your race winner, Kevin Lacroix. The Visit New Hampshire 100 has been brought to you by Mopar. We built it. We know it. By E3 Spark Plugs. Born to burn. And by Pinty's. Making great food fun.
Dave, all we can hope for is to get to the final race of any NASCAR Pinty Series season with a battle on our hands, and that is exactly what we have. It becomes a winner-take-all.
We will crown a champion in the final race of 2018. That will be the Pinty's Fall Brawl at Hampshire Motor Speedway. From all of us at TSN, we'll see you there.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.